Hello everyone, I'm Jamie with J&J Art Creations here. I'm going to do my first how to draw video. Okay, so here we have Tanjiro from Demon Slayer. So first things first, let me clear this up. This is practice. This is anime drawing practice. This is not an original character. I didn't design this. This is not an original pose. This is heavily referencing or copying an image that I did not create. I'm not trying to take credit for it. I'm not trying to sell this image. Strictly for practice. Okay, let's get in. Okay, so with any character drawing, you typically start off with a circle first. I've divided the circle up in order to create some lines for myself to fit the eyeballs in. Anime eyes are usually very large. It all depends on which type of anime, different art styles, and of course your own preference. But like I said in the intro, we are copying another reference image, so I'm trying to make it look exactly like the original artwork that I'm seeing. So the purpose of the circle that you start off with is to give you a guideline for how large the head's going to be. Oftentimes hair ends up getting a little crazy, especially with anime characters. Here I've blocked in the torso, the arms, just trying to give myself some guidelines. I'm doing it very, very light. Now, this is horrible resolution right now, and for some reason it's zoomed in. I think I recorded it in landscape instead of portrait, but here in just a moment it'll flip and the image will look a heck of a lot better. So again, just very, very lightly with my pencil, just blocking in shapes. I'm not spending any great deal of time. I think this maybe took less than 30 minutes to do just the pencil sketch. Okay, there we go. Resolution's kicked in. I'm adjusting the sword. Wasn't happy with the angle of it. I think I ended up doing that yet again. But as the process goes on, I'm adding more and more layers of detail. My blocky shapes are becoming more and more defined. I used a straight edge to lay the sword down, and then the hilt down there, the handle where he's holding it, I made sure when I was putting the fingers around to wrap those. So fingers are usually difficult. Just start off with kind of a square or a block and then add individual rectangles for your fingers. Now here is where the magic happens. This is where all of your construction lines pay off. The inking process, my favorite part of the drawing. This is where you make your big decisions. Which lines are going to stay, which lines are going to get cut, which lines are going to make it to your final drawing. A lot of people develop their style on their lines, their line quality. Line thickness, thinness, the steadiness of it. You know, sometimes you'll see some art styles that are really squiggly on the edges. So once you get it entirely inked, let it dry really well, and then erase all of your pencil lines. You know, my wife and kids always joke that I like to make my own coloring books here, which is basically what I've done. So now I'm beginning to color. I'm using Hobby Lobby's brand, Master's Touch alcohol brush markers. So alcohol markers are made to blend with each other. You layer them on, and instead of, like if you use watercolor, or not watercolor, but water-based markers, the ink pulls in. Alcohol markers push the ink out. So your colors don't mix on your tip, but they mix on the page. One quick tip, I've already passed it, but whenever you're doing characters, make sure you put a little bit of a shadow. I used a very, very cool gray, a cool gray 1 for the eyeballs. It makes a big difference, it makes the eyes more real. So Tanjiro's got a checkered jacket on. So I've been careful to follow the folds and the creases in the fabric while I'm blocking these in. I'm starting off with layering in just one color of this pale green. This is going to be my lightest tone. Whenever I'm coloring, and it's different with different people and different art styles, but I always try to do at least 3 shades. A base tone, a shadow color, and a highlight. So I'm laying in the darker shades. This is the sort of the mid-tone. The light green is the highlight color. And I'll come back again later with another color. I think I use a dark blue, and then I color back over that with my forest green to saturate it and make it look green again. very, very carefully layering in my darks. This is actually my darkest green, which is going to end up being the lightest color of the dark checkers. I'll go back over with some, there's the blue. So this is a brilliant blue. I'm putting this in to create the shadow. Shadows are typically blue in nature. They look dark, they look black, they look gray, but really they're tones of blue. Now starting in with his shirt and pants. I'm using a light colored brown right now. Again, same process. All I'm doing is laying it down, and then I come in with a darker color and go directly over top of it. And I keep going back and forth between my dark tones and my light tones in order to make them blend where I want them to blend. Now, some edges I want to keep hard because part of the art style that I'm trying to mimic here has some hard edges, like right there above his knee. I want every piece of this to be colored. Even if it's going to be a white part, I want it to all be colored. I'm going in with some warm gray, just kind of making some things tie in. You'll see some more gray on the fingers, warm gray under the sleeves, the belt, his undershirt or under gi, I guess. The wraps around his feet. There's the warm gray going in on the fingers. Now, a super important step. Anytime you draw something, line it, erase it, and then color it, you need to go back over it with your liner and make your black lines black again. Oh, almost forgot, the Jellyroll pen. This is just a white gel pen that I'm going in and selectively adding highlights to some areas to create some separation in the piece. Now here we go. Here's the liner. I'm going back in with my liner, and I'm just doing the large pieces. If I think about it like, if it's a line that I could wrap my fingers around, then I want to double up that line and make it a little bit more bold. And now, just for my own personal expression, throwing in some watercolor in the background to make it a little more interesting. I chose red because red and green, complementary colors, they look great together. Plus, it kind of fits with the Demon Slayer vibe here. And this is it, the finished piece.